All right, guys, I've got a short one this time. I thought I'd do something that kind of marries everything about, my upbringing and being a kid, but also like something that's more adult and reflects kind of like my current state of comics, enjoyment. So what we're going to look at is a short story in Vertigo DC Comics Flinch. It was like an anthology series for, you know, I think this came out in the 90s, late 90s, so mid 90s. So, around that era of, the Tales from the Crypt being a popular, kind of more edgy anthology series. And speaking of edgy, now we're going to look at this story right here. This is one of the bigger highlights, I think, when it comes to marrying two kind of different ideas. So we have a story by Joe R. Lansdale. A quick biography of him, or not biography, but like a filmography of him, is he's a writer. He's done short stories and stuff, but he's also worked on the Batman animated series. He's done a couple episodes for them, a couple for the new Batman Adventures, Superman Adventures, and then he wrote Bubba Hotep. Shout outs to Bubba Hotep fans. Basically, he's done a little bit of here and there, even as recently as Love, Death, and Robots. He's done a few episodes there. And it kind of makes sense why this other guy, who's also very influential to me, Timm, does the art in color. These two guys obviously must have met during, because I don't know the actual history of this, but I'm assuming they met during the making of Batman the Animated Series. And this must have been one of those things where they either had an idea and then they just happened to work out that they could put it in Flinch, or Flinch came and they were like, we got to put something in here. This is also number 11 just to keep track of it, just like how far in. And I don't know if this was monthly or what it was. It says it's April of 2000. So still a pretty modern comic, I guess, for having that early 90s or mid 90s kind of vibes. So right off the bat, they open it straight up with this. And again, no offense to any of the other short stories. One day I might get around to the other ones, but we're just looking at this one. And I'm going to spoil it, of course. But I think this is one of the more stranger but also awesome things. Like, I don't know, the kid in me and the adult in me dig the shit out of this based off of style, but also substance or themes. So yeah, what we've got here is Red Romance, and so we've got a woman of the night, girl, whatever they call it. We'll just leave it at that. But we've also seen that there's another gentleman who's beating up an old lady. Again, I love this look. If you ever wanted to know what Timm would make, like as a Sin City-esque story, it would be something along these lines with the style and the type of look it would have. There's just something about that just is awesome. And yeah, and so we're gonna have this chick actually wanting to kill this guy, not really sleep with him. But yeah, but instead of doing the deed there, she cuts our friend, our man's throat, takes his money, and it looks like this guy's he likes what he sees, and so he's following her. From night to day, he's watching, follows her again, sees that she's doing the same trick, and there's just something about that he's all about. Uh, I like because this is a pretty sweet shot. Again, this is R-rated version of like Bruce Timm stuff, and Bruce Timm has had done some more mature stuff. So yeah, they basically essentially they become friends. Let's start there. Um, she showed he's seen what she's done, what she does for a living, and he's going to show her what he does for a living, and it basically turns them each other on. You know, again, you're going to get into some disturbing things, but also kind of hilarious. Like, there's just this shot of her kicking an old man in a wheelchair. Like, what a scene! I believe that's downstairs. So that's hilarious. That's amazing. It's fucked up, but it's amazing. I mean, it's like cartoonishly ridiculous, but like again, you have like this dude's just they're just amused. It's this the Mickey and Mallory kind of natural born killers kind of thing going. Dropping a friggin' cartoon style death where you just throw the bowling ball out the window. You know, you got a wire. Across the street, so the motorcyclist gets freaking decapitated practically. Doesn't show that. That actually would have been kind of a cool shot. Again, we've got some adult themes here. They're kind of Satanists, whatever you call it, masochists. That's what I meant, masochists. But then they get kind of it starts to get a little boring. They're just sitting there watching TV. That's hilarious. I love the juxtaposition of these things. So yeah, essentially this guy, I believe, in order to get the spice back in life, he hires a guy to essentially, his girlfriend. Again, that I'm not going to talk about, specifically just based off of, it'll explain itself here in a minute. So, she finds out that he's watching it happen, and then she's like, "Oh, well, if that was, I didn't think you were going to do that, or whatever, because I actually was going to have him do the deed." So basically, she ended up paying him as well to take him out. Which again, I like this little like. This is pretty dark stuff. Again, you got kind of like a spotty kind of going in and out of, I like this effect, in and out of consciousness, and there's like a silhouette here, and there's a blowtorch. So just assume what that means. So then again, he's getting all tied up. Basically, they're getting tortured. I wonder if Ed Piskor saw this at any point and was like, yeah, this needs to be like a Red Room style thing. Got a lot of Red Room vibe. But yeah, they basically are just loving the fact that this dude was paid to basically beat the shit out of them. And then they're so happy about basically having this happen to them that essentially it becomes a point where the guy's like, well, who's first? We're going to flip for it. So she says heads. It's tails. You lose. No, I win. Bam. No, I win. It's so beautiful. So then he's what? Sees her dead. And then he's like, so, gonna get his money's worth. And, crunked right in the forehead. Guy, cleans up, and, once again, you get kind of a cool little, like, Sin City-esque, I feel like, scene. But, yeah. To the bloody end. And, yeah, so again, the kid growing up in love with the Batman animated series, and then the adulthood growing up and loving like Bruce Timm as an artist. And I loosely know of Joe Lansdale. Like, it makes me kind of want to look into more of his stuff. Um, but yeah, essentially that's it. It's just this really, really dark, but with a little bit of humor and really well executed visuals. It's short and sweet, to the point, and it's probably one of my favorite things that is not like either a full book. Like, obviously, there's more to this. You know, they've got more stories in here, but one of my favorite, like, just little blinks and you miss it kind of comics, especially anthology wise. Like this, that to me feels like if they were to try and like make an even more like rated R version of like uh, Tales from the Crypt. Like that was a very Tales from the Crypt kind of you know, writing, where the writing is very snappy, witty, dark, and whatnot. And so yeah, I wanted to share that with you guys. I'm not monetized at this point, so I don't give a shit about showing off anything adult. This is adult channel, so if you want to see more fucked up things that we can kind of push the boundaries, but also, you know, still comic book channel, still have fun, let me know. And this has been Four Eyes, and I'm out.